think we got a heck of a shot of winning. We can beat anybody in the world, and I think we're going to win next Sunday.
David Wells has pitched a perfect game. 27 up, 27 down. Baseball immortality for David Wells.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2. Bates against Joseph. Bates in on goal. Shoot! Mets! Defend Mets! And the Rangers have one more hell of a time, baby!
This is the Cross Island Sports Network, where iconic moments get iconic coverage.
You are listening to the Cross Island Podcast.
Action! Hosted by Lyle Gillen and Errol Marks.
Welcome.
You are listening
to the Cross Island Podcast. Yes, my name is Errol Marks, my co-host, Lyle Gillian. Lyle, what's up, man? Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Happy New Year. I haven't spoken to you in a while. How was England?
It was absolutely amazing. It's my favorite country outside the U.S. to go to. I loved Christmas time over there. It was a lot of fun. How was your New Year's and your holiday Christmas?
Oh, my God. Spending it with my family is a lot of heartache, let me tell you. I mean, a lot of craziness, as always. Family life is never easy. But then again, you know, you live and you learn, and you enjoy yourself. And I did have a good holiday. You know, my thoughts to it is it's a holiday for kids more than it is for grown-ups. But happy to celebrate with my family and everybody that was around me for the holidays, and friends, and celebrating the Friendsgiving and all that crazy crap that everybody does. But happy to be here, Lyle. We haven't had a show or done a show in about 4 weeks. It maybe
not 2 weeks.
No, it's been longer than that. Not for me and you. It's been a longer time.
I think we did one 2 weeks ago.
Nope. Lyle. Pass on fire. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, thank you, everybody. And it's a new show of the Cross Island Podcast. Again, I'm Errol. That is Lyle. And we have a lot of things to get into tonight as the New York Jets and the Giants finish their NFL seasons of the year, as both teams absolutely stink. And we'll get into some of the offseason stuff that the Jets should do. Aaron Rodgers speaks out again for the New York Jets, as he is the GM, coach, or whatever the hell you want to call him. He's everything to the New York Jets, because it seems like the Jets do not want to get rid of any of their classic head coaches and GMs, because Aaron says they're good. And when Aaron says they're good, they keep them. But anyway, so we'll get into that. Wink Martindale steps down as the New York Giants defensive coordinator after Mr. Dable came out and said that he is coming back next year. A couple hours later, he steps down. So there you go for Wink Martindale. We'll get into the Giants and what the Giants need to do in the offseason to get better, and then look for a new defensive coordinator if that's where they're going to be looking. We will also get into the New York Jets. I was going to say the New York Jets. We just did. The New York Knicks, as they make a trade, they trade R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quigley and a second-round draft pick to, yes, the Toronto Raptors. They add OG Anunoby, so he heads over there to the New York Knicks, and a couple other pieces, Malachi, and then obviously I love this name, Precious. Mr. Precious, my precious, here's my ring. Anyways, yeah, so that's what's going on. So we'll get into that. And then the Mets, they make some moves. They added Mr. Bader, ex-New York Yankee outfielder. If he doesn't get hurt and he stays healthy, I mean, that's a good signing for the New York Metropolitans. And then, yes, the Sean Manaea. I'm sorry. What is it? Manaea? No, it's Manaea. I'm sorry. Sean Manaea, who he played for Oakland. He was a pretty good pitcher for Oakland for years, and then he was jumping from one team to another for the last couple of years, and now he signs a 2-year deal with the Mets. I think that's a good sign. So we'll get into that as well, and we'll get into some Islanders and Rangers as well, as the Islanders and Rangers continue winning. The Islanders look like they don't have anything to cry about, even though their defense absolutely stinks. And maybe when Pelech and Pulak come back, they combine them again and actually may make one of those top defensive pairings that we've seen over the years with Barry Trotz. So we'll get into that as well. So let's get into the New York Jets, because at the end of the game, I know every Jet fan was so excited about this win against the New England Patriots, 17-3, and New England didn't even want to play. Okay, if that's the facts.
No, they had no interest.
They had no interest even showing up to the game, then along beating the New York Jets in a game. But what we did learn about the New York Jets is they weren't trying to lose, and they weren't trying to fall into the perfect spot for a draft pick to get maybe an alt or one of these offensive linemen. No, why would the Jets do that? Why would they help themselves? Why would they help Aaron Rodgers going into the offseason? No, not at all. You know what the Jets decided to do? They decided to beat Washington and kick that field goal. They decided to beat New England in New England 17-3, just to send Bill Belichick on his way wherever he goes, to the Chargers, Washington, if he leaves New England. Whatever it is, it seems like that's what they were trying to do, just to make a point. Meanwhile, it means nothing to the New England Patriots or winning that game or losing that game. That's the facts. But seriously, the New York Jets finished the season with a quarterback in Zach Wilson, who finished the season with 2,271 yards. Oh my God. Did you hear those numbers? And by the way, probably going to be traded for a 6th or 7th round draft pick at the end of this season when July comes around, June comes around, when they have to decide what they're doing with their roster. Not the fact that Breece Hall still had 994 rushing yards after having a terrible first half of the season, because Nathaniel Hackett decided not to run the ball through him for some damn reason. This guy's a beast, but hey, we're not going to give it to one of our best offensive weapons. We'll give it to Dalvin Cook. We'll give it to, I don't know, Michael Carter's no longer part of the team. So good job, Nathaniel. You're a freaking smart guy. And then there's Garrett Wilson, who came out recently and said he doesn't know where his future lies with the New York Jets after this season, even though he still broke 1,000 yards. He's the first Jet to do that in a very, very long time. And first rookie and a guy that the Jets drafted to do it back-to-back years. So congratulations to Garrett Wilson. I clap for that. But the problem is he's got a big mouth, and he doesn't know when to shut it. So what do we look at going into the offseason? I want to hear about Robert Saleh, and he's got something, and Steve Wyche needs to open his eyes. This guy should have never have been thought of being coach of the year at any point this year, no matter if they came back and they beat Kansas City, or they went on a 6-game winning streak. There's no way Robert Saleh is one of the best coaches or one of the better coaches this year. He was absolutely putrid. No, we're not going to get into that. Or how about Joe Douglas and what he's going to do in the draft, and what he's going to do in the offseason to clean up this offensive line woes that they're absolutely disgusting at? No, we're not going to get into that either. What we do know right now is Aaron Rodgers speaks and everybody listens. That's what we're listening to. If Aaron Rodgers has his own feelings to where the Jets are going or what the Jets are going to be next year, please, guys, pull out your mics, pull out your underwear, pull out whatever you want to pull out, and try not to do anything stupid. But nevertheless, the fact is, Aaron Rodgers says, and the Jets do. That's what's going to happen this offseason. If Aaron Rodgers wants a wide receiver that plays for the Raiders, well, then he's going to get him. As Adams, we all know.
But what do you give up for him?
Not a first-round draft pick. He's not worth it.
Well, not this year's first-round draft pick.
No, they're not giving up a first-round. He's 31 years old. By the beginning of next year, he will be 31 years old. There's no way the Jets are giving up a first-round draft pick. Now, do I see the Jets giving up a second, maybe a third this year and a second next year? Yeah, I could see the Jets doing that. I think it's a bad move by the Jets. And to me, you have to decide on your situation with Garrett Wilson. If Garrett Wilson is coming out and speaking to the press and saying he doesn't know about his future going into his, third year? He has 2 more years left, and then he's going to be a free agent. And yes, they can obviously franchise him. He's not going to like that. And to me, the Jets have put themselves in a bad situation when you have your star wide receiver saying that you better ship up or shape up, or I'm going to be shipping out. So here's
the thing: every top receiver in the NFL is a diva. They all have this complex that they're gonna cry and then moan and then want to leave when stuff doesn't go their way. Every top receiver is like that. I don't understand why, but that's how it is. If the Jets start winning and he starts getting touchdowns, this goes away. It's not a problem anymore. But until that happens, if they continue playing like they had the last 2 years, where he's having 1,000-yard receiving yards, but 2-3 touchdowns to the year, you know what? He's going to continue to have that same attitude, and I don't blame him.
Well, I understand why a lot of Jet fans are speaking on social media and maybe attacking Garrett Wilson or saying, "Oh, here comes another player that's going to leave our team." Keyshawn Johnson did it a couple of years being with the Jets. He decided to go to the Buccaneers and win a Super Bowl there, maybe because he wasn't getting along with some of the wide receivers, the flashlight, Mr. Wayne Corbett. Who knows what was going on in the locker room, but it didn't work out with Bill Parcells, and Bill Parcells was the guy that drafted Keyshawn Johnson. And I've never interviewed Keyshawn Johnson to know the story and how the story went over there with the New York Jets before he decided to run and gun over there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he didn't make the wrong choice, by the way. But to look at the Jets right now and going into the offseason, they have Tippmann, they have Elijah Vera Tucker. Elijah Vera Tucker is going into his 4th year. He has 1 more year left, and then they're going to have to decide if they're keeping him or are they parting ways. Are they going to trade him? The guy's sensational when he's on the field. The guy can't stay healthy. Nope. His tearing his pectoral 2 years ago in the same place in Denver, and then this year in Denver, tearing his Achilles. I mean, the guy is fantastic.
Well, good thing this year we're playing Denver again, but at home. So maybe they're safe there.
No, they're not safe. It's never safe with Elijah Vera Tucker. And Mekhi Becton is done.
Knock on wood.
They need to get rid of Mekhi Becton. They need to get rid of Lincoln Tomlinson.
See, I would have no problem keeping Becton as a backup.
No, because Becton is not going to like that. And again, when you look
I don't think he's going to be able to go anywhere and get a starting opportunity.
I'm sorry?
I don't think he'll be able to go anywhere and get a starting opportunity.
He's not getting a starting opportunity, but the Jets cannot bring him back for all the crap that he's delivered this year at the left tackle position. He was crying that he wanted to be their left tackle, started the season at the right tackle. Dwayne gets hurt. Dwayne Brown gets Aaron Rodgers hurt. And then he moves over there, shifts to the other side. The guy was back and forth, grabbing his knee in every single game. The guy couldn't stay healthy. And to me, you can't extend him, and you can't believe that even if you stick him at the right tackle position, it's going to work. The guy just doesn't have it. He's a big man who just doesn't have the foot.
Those knee injuries definitely took a lot off him, because he started off well in his first rookie year. Then he got injured and he couldn't get back on the field. And if you look back and think maybe if he didn't get injured, it could have been different. But we will never know.
I don't think it'll be ever different. After he had his first rookie season and he did very well, he was a top 5, top 6 tackle, and everybody was speaking about him. Darrelle Revis called him the big ticket. After that, he decided to, get hurt. I wouldn't say he decided, but he got hurt, and he wasn't the same. And he hasn't been the same. Losing weight, doing this, and whatever. Maybe
when you hurt your knees, I think you're both knees, right?
No, I think it was the same knee. He hurt the same knee. Same thing.
That's still really bad when you, especially at in a sport like football, if you hurt your knee and have to have missed 2 years because of it.
How about losing weight? How about doing the things that he should have done in the beginning, where it was very costly. He thought by his size and his ability, it was going to be enough for the NFL, which he wasn't. And again, going into the offseason, that's what Joe Douglas needs to look at. Clean this offensive line problem up. You could have.
Well, at 10, they're probably not going to be able to get Alt or the tackle tackle from Penn State. The guy they're probably looking at right now is J.C. Latham from Alabama.
I don't want him. I don't want anybody from Alabama.
He's probably the highest rated guy.
No offensive lineman from Alabama. They have not worked. Evan Neal didn't work for the Giants. I'm not bringing in any offensive linemen, at least in the last couple of years. They just haven't worked. I'm not bringing any of them over here. Even Jonah Williams came from Alabama. He's a good player. He's not a great player. The Bengals drafted him. He just really hasn't developed into the right tackle that everybody thought he was going to be. They shifted him all over the offensive line. He was a guard. They moved him to tackle. They moved him here. They moved him there. He's good. He's just not good enough. And I wouldn't draft an Alabama offensive lineman. Now, they were talking about the Georgia kid. I just think the Jets made a big mistake in the last 3 or 4 games of the season, winning 2 of them. 2 of them where They should have lost all 4 of them, and it just didn't make any sense. It put him in and I don't care what Joe Douglas says. Oh, there's going to be a great player at number 10. Yeah, but it's not going to be that player that you need to fill in the blank right now. Now you're going to go into the offseason and invest into players that you shouldn't be investing in. So I don't like it. Now,
what do you think they're going to do with Hall?
Bryce Hall?
Yeah.
I get rid of him. I don't bring him back unless he takes a pay cut. And I don't know.
I think he's good as gone. Especially those comments he made, which I don't blame him.
Michael Carter's the one that you have to worry about because there are teams that are going to be lining up for him. He was the best slot corner in the league for the last 2 seasons. And he's going to be, he might be a number 1 or a number 2 on another team where he's going to make a lot of money. And I don't know if the Jets are going to be able to bring him back. And they could franchise him, but is it going to be worth franchising somebody when he's pissed off and he's going to say, you know what, I'll sit out. I don't know. I don't need to.
What is the current payment for a franchise tag for a cornerback?
For a slack corner, probably around 13-14 million. And he's a good player, and I think he's going to go somewhere, and so he's going to be an impact player for wherever he goes. So, what would be smart for him? The thing would be smart to stay with the Jets this coming year, get yourself a chance to maybe win a championship if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, and make a statement there on the big stage. But he could still make a lot of money. There are other teams out there looking for corner help. There are a ton of teams looking for corner help, and I think he'll be available. But again, with the New York Jets, the main concern right here is protecting what they need and not relaying it to anybody where people are going to look at it and say, well, they want that. Well, they're going to have to give me that for that, So I think the Jets need to keep quiet. Joe Douglas needs to do it in a silent motion. Don't be stupid. That's all I'm going to say about the Jets. The Giants this past week, they finished their season off and on a bang, knocking off the Eagles. And the Eagles looked horrible. And I know Jalen Hurts was hurt, and so was A.J. Brown early in the game. The Giants had a really good game. Tyrod Taylor looked like if the Giants had Tyrod Taylor all season long, the Giants are in the playoffs. The Giants are in the playoffs.
Wasn't I the one high on Tyrod Taylor at the beginning? And you told me I was crazy?
Who?
You told me I was crazy.
What are you talking about?
I said Tyrod Taylor was better than
no, he's not. He's not better than Daniel Jones.
Yes, he is. Daniel Jones is terrible.
No, he's not.
He's god awful.
He's not better than Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is terrible.
All right. Tyrod Taylor played in how many games this year?
And you even said
how many games did he play? How many games did he play?
You even said it.
Tyrod Taylor.
You even said it. If he was healthy the whole year, they make the playoffs.
Yes, you know what? Because their schedule got easier at the end of the season.
And if Daniel Jones was healthy the entire year, they still don't make the playoffs.
Really? Because Daniel Jones played in 6 games this year. His completion percentage was 67.5 to Tyrod Taylor, who played 11 games, 64.4. Tyrod Taylor had 1,341 yards to Daniel Jones, 909 in 6 games. No, he's not even close, okay? Daniel Jones is a better quarterback. And for you to
I don't agree at all. I think Daniel Jones is
Jones needed weapons, and they need to give him weapons in the offseason. Go after Neighbors.
Skill.
No, he has skill.
No.
He has skill. And by the way,
he's not a good quarterback.
You're wrong.
I'm 100% correct.
You're wrong. And by the way,
he is the most overpaid quarterback in the NFL, by the way.
No, he's not. I can name a bunch of them that are overpaid, that don't belong, getting paid what they want. As a matter of fact, the Jets have one of them who's a rookie who would be getting $12, $13 million to do nothing because he stinks.
He shouldn't be getting anywhere close to $40 million. 40 million.
40 million. And yes, the average quarterback is going to make that money. And the season that he had last year, he deserves it. And if they gave him some weapons,
I don't think he even had a good year last year.
He did. With no wide receivers?
I'm sorry, no quarterback.
Who was he throwing to?
It's a passing league again.
Who was he throwing it to? Darius Slayton? Garbage that he was sending?
He had 15 passing touchdowns in a passing league.
He didn't have
a quarterback that should be getting $40 million.
Disagree. You have to give guys weapons. I mean, even look at Zach Wilson. I'm not going to blame everything on Zach Wilson. All he had was Garrett Wilson. You added a guy, Lazard. Lazard is a third, fourth guy on most teams. The Jets paid him because Aaron Rodgers wanted him there. They brought Cobbs in, even though Cobb wasn't making a lot of money. They brought him in for leadership and because Aaron Rodgers told him to go there. Okay, and the Jets that signed him. So you look at the Giants. Their best wide receiver this year was Darius Slayton, who had 770 yards. 770 yards. Okay, that's not good enough. They don't have weapons. They've given him nothing. So you don't know what he is until you give him weapons. Give him neighbors in the offseason. Give him Higgins. And we'll see if this offense can't be prolific. I think they can. They're fast. They're fun. Then you have weapons all over. You bring Saquon Barkley back. Give him a 3-year extension. The guy's a beast. 962 rushing yards. He was everything, and he could have been everything for the Giants if they actually just took care of him. The Giants made a big mistake.
I think Barkley's gone.
What happened?
I think Barkley's gone.
If they bring in T. Higgins, more unlikely. And here's another thing. Losing Wink Martindale absolutely is
I think Barkley's gone regardless of who they bring in.
Not necessarily. He said he wants to be a Giant for life, and the Giants might negotiate a deal to give him a 3-year, and this is what he wants. He wants 3 years, $15 million. I think the Giants could give him that. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how everything falls together for the Giants in the offseason.
How old is he? 26, right?
Barkley would be 27 this year going into the season.
So 3 years.
3 years.
30. Okay, 30 is kind of like, yeah. Okay, that's okay.
No, 3 years, $40 million, and $25 million.
That's not a bad contract. If he's a couple years older, you don't give him that contract at all. But
I think the Giants could give him that. They should have given it to him in the offseason. They made a big mistake, but the Giants are put in a really good position going into the offseason, except losing Wink Martindale. I don't know what they do at the defensive coordinator.
I really liked Wink Martindale and the job he did. The reason why they were competitive the entire second half of the year is because of Wink Martindale. And hey, I'll give Daboll credit for what he did with Tommy DeVito. He
did nothing for Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito had 2 good games. And they weren't even good.
To have
120 yards and 135.
But he took a quarterback that never should have been competitive, and then had him being competitive. You got to give the coach credit to that.
You could have been competitive for the Giants offense. First of all,
I'm not tall enough to throw over the offensive line.
Yeah, I would not. Tommy DeVito sometimes. He looks like a little child. He has his parents doing his bed and reading him a bedtime story. I mean, Tommy DeVito.
He's going to get a solid contract as a backup somewhere.
No, he's
not. 100% he will.
No, he's
not. 100%.
Dude, he has too many problems off the field. His parents selling shirts with his name on it. Him going out to pizzerias and promoting pizzerias when he's been reading a book. I mean, seriously, the guy, it doesn't make sense. And he's not Eli Manning, and he's no surprise. He's not
Someone will sign him as a backup or a third string.
He's not going to be the backup for the Giants next year.
I didn't say the Giants. I said
he won't be a backup anywhere. Why would anybody want Tommy DeVito as their backup? He stinks. He stinks. The Giants proved it when Tyrod Taylor was ready to come back. What?
Someone will do it.
No,
every time there's a quarterback,
he will not be on another roster next year.
Every single time there's a quarterback with flash in the pan,
he'll be redshirt.
Someone gives him a contract the year afterwards. Happens every time. I don't think he gets a contract.
He's not Mike White.
I don't think he's going to get a contract to be. Honestly, he did more than Mike White ever did. Mike White had 1 good game his entire time with the Jets.
Mike White, what was it? 3 games, 4 games last year. He was really good. He almost came back against Buffalo. He put up the numbers. He put up numbers. He's not better than Mike White. The guy stinks. The fact that you think DeVito is going to get a backup job, he's going to make a team on the practice squad. He's never going to make another team. The Giants put him on a team because of Tyrod Taylor. And honestly, he's not even a third string quarterback. He stinks, man. He is horrible. Tommy DeVito is garbage.
I'm not saying he's good. I said someone will give him a backup job. Someone will sign him.
I'll make you a bet on that. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. He stinks. Okay. It's not going to happen.
Someone will sign Tommy DeVito to a contract.
Giants need wide receivers. They need some offensive line help in the offseason. Their defense, they're going to have to look for a good defensive coordinator because losing Wink Martindale is going to hide. He hid deficiencies of that defense. Now, you're going to have problems because he's all about blitzing and using his front seven to really cause havoc and even bring up the safeties. I don't know who they're going to bring in to help out. And Dable could be out next year. If Dable doesn't produce next year, Dable could be out and Joe Shane could be out as quick as they made their way in. It's crazy, but this is the way football is, and things change. I mean, they're talking about
Martindale gets a job as head coach.
They're talking about Nick Sirianni. If they get eliminated against the Buccaneers in week 1 in the playoffs in the wild card game, Nick Sirianni could be fired. This is the same guy who led the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl last year, and they could fire him after this year because, heck, he's losing the locker room. Everybody's fighting. Nobody's getting along. It says only one thing. The coach doesn't know how to control his players. So, I mean, the Giants are in a decent situation because they have the money, but losing Wink Martindale absolutely hurts everything. Anything that you can look forward to in the offseason to make the Giants a contender. I mean, because even though the conference stinks and we don't know what Washington's going to do at the coaching position, Ron Rivera gets fired. Obviously, Smith gets fired from Atlanta. I mean, there's a couple of positions open.
If
the Raiders aren't fired, it looks like the Raiders are going to keep obviously Pierce as their coach. Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce.
I think we'll Paul Pierce.
Antonio Pierce looks like he's going to keep his job at Vegas at least a year and see how it works, unless Jim Harbaugh becomes available after the national championship tonight. And if that happens, which I believe it will, I could see
if he wins, I think he's gone.
I think he loses or wins, he's gone, because they're going to have problems in the offseason because Michigan's going to have sanctions and they might not be able to play for a national championship for a year or two after all the things that are going to come out. So
honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to the Raiders and then they draft JJ McCarthy.
A lot of people think that, and I think that would be a bad move for the Raiders. You get the best player available, and
they need a lot. They need a lot.
They need a quarterback.
Best player available in general is a good move.
They need a quarterback. If Penix is sitting there, I mean, I think Penix is going to have a sensational year. So, sensational combine. He had a sensational year. I thought he should have won the Heisman. That's what I thought. He won the Heisman. And I think he'll have a sensational year when he gets drafted. I think he's the best quarterback in that class, just like I thought C.J. Stroud was going to be the best quarterback.
I'm going to say right now, every single year, a quarterback has a phenomenal combine and jumps up ahead of other quarterbacks. And Penix could be that guy who could do that. Because right now, he's projected to maybe go in the latter half of the top 10, maybe the 10 to 15 range at the worst. And I think there's a chance he could squeak up there and surprise people and go top 3.
I don't think he's going in the top 3, but I think
depending on his combine, he could. It happens every year where guys do that.
I don't think he is, and I think
every year guys do that
because of his his width, and he's not a big guy. I mean, he's tall, but he's not a big guy. He's very light, so a lot of people are worried about that. But he's got to build muscle. But I think Penix is going to be drafted in the first round. I think somebody's going to get a good quarterback, and I wouldn't be surprised if it'll be the Raiders if he falls a little bit past 11 or 12. I mean, they have a chance for him, and there might be other teams interested in him too. So there's a lot of questions, and hopefully things will be answered in the offseason for the New York Jets and the New York Giants. But if you're a Giant fan, with the Wink Martindale thing, absolutely surprising after Dable came out just today, early in the day, and said that Wink's coming back and practically the whole coaching staff's coming back. And then the story comes out, he steps down from the Giants a couple hours later. So doesn't seem very good for the New York Giants and what was going on behind closed doors when it was going around. The drugs were going around. I'm just kidding. But anyways, so that's my thoughts with the Giants and the Jets. The New York Knicks make a trade. I thought it was a sensational trade, ladies and gentlemen. I at first, a lot of questions to it, and a lot of people would take shots at Leon Rose and they say, wow, you gave up RJ Barrett. He was our best prospect that we had in our, on our team. We built this kid. He came from Duke. He was the 3rd pick in the first round, right behind John Morant and Williamson. And Williamson could be interested in possibly coming to the the Knicks when he becomes available because of him and RJ's, friendship. Now it looks like he could go to Toronto if he really wants to. But nevertheless, the Knicks have been going after OG Anunoby for the last couple of years. They could not seal the deal. It's a guy that really fits in Tom Thibodeau's defense. He's one of the better perimeter defenders, second all-team NBA last year as far as a defender is concerned. He puts up 15 points a game, an average of 15 points. He does so much off the boards. He's a good guy when it comes to stealing the ball and dominating the paint. Something, losing Mitch Robinson was a big loss, and the Knicks defense really got worse. They were one of the top 5, top 6 in almost every single statistic when it comes to defense for the New York Knicks. And then all of a sudden, he goes off on the IR, and the Giants and the Knicks are in a bad position now. The Knicks are still trying to figure out, how to keep it under 100. After losing against Orlando, they did on a Friday night. Saturday, you hear the trade that sent Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett in a second-round draft pick for, obviously, OG Anunoby, Precious, and Malachi. And again, Precious, Ikawa, and obviously Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn was an addition. Precious is actually a pretty good defender in the paint, something that the Knicks are going to need moving forward. Harnstein's played better since OG Anunoby. And by the way, the Knicks haven't lost a game since Anunoby's been traded.
4-game win streak.
Yeah, so it shows Leon Rose knows what he's doing for all the fans and all the people wanting to throw Leon Rose under the bus. But boy, he looks like a genius. They added Jalen Brunson, good contract. Anunoby came out. He has one more year left on his as a player option. The Knicks sign him in the offseason. He will take less to stay with the Knicks, so the Knicks could add another superstar to come and play with them. I mean, if that happens, the Knicks are in a really good position to obviously be a contender next year. You see what the Celtics did with Drew Holiday and Porzingis. They're a team that is going to be making noise in the playoffs with the talent that they have. And the Eastern Conference is probably, besides the Celtics and the additions that they had, is an open conference. I know the Milwaukee Bucks look good and they added Damian Lillard, but they lost Drew Holiday. And I still question what's going on and if their bench is going to be strong enough to compete against the best teams in the Eastern Conference in the playoffs. But nevertheless, I think the Knicks made a good move. I think there's a really strategic move for the New York Knicks moving forward. It was very quickly. They moved it because they knew things were falling apart, and they needed to make a trade to add some defensive help at the perimeter against these better guards in the league, which he's one of the best. So I love the move for the Knicks, and it looks like it's an A+ as of right now.
I think they, every time you make a trade, you have to give up something to get something. And I think, they might have given up some more of their depth. I think they probably would have preferred to add him and maybe, before the season, I would say, because like you mentioned, they've been trying to get him for past 2 years. I think they probably would have preferred to add him and not have to give up some of their scoring. And I think at the end of the day, you had to give up to get something. And it's proven that so far it's not a problem in the last 4 games that he's been playing. They upgraded their starting 5 very, very – they have a very good starting 5 now.
Well, and again, other players are getting chances and they're playing pretty good. So, yeah. I mean, right now, the Knicks are getting points on and off the bench. Anunoby's giving you what you need defensively and on the perimeter side of the ball. So I think the Knicks put himself in a very good position. Now, they're not done. There are stories coming out that the Knicks are planning to make one more big move. Now, could it be Donovan Mitchell? He seems to not want to be over there in Cleveland, but you've heard Miami, obviously, you've heard Miami, you heard, I think, Brooklyn. And Siakam's a guy that the Knicks would love. OG and him are very good friends. They're both from the Toronto area. If Toronto was going to make a move with OG, maybe the Knicks would be willing to give up, 4 first rounds or 5 first rounds. They got a ton of them to land a guy like Siakam, maybe another player. They land Siakam to play with OG. I mean, then the Knicks are really put themselves in a really good position to be a contender in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens at the trade deadline and what the Knicks have up their sleeve, what Leon Rose has up their sleeve. But all in all, when you look at this trade, this is a good trade for the New York Knicks. This puts the Knicks in a position where they're going to be able to compete in the Eastern Conference as well as they should. And with Jalen Brunson playing the way he is and Julius Randle waking up and stop connecting brick after brick after brick, I mean, the Knicks are in a very good position where they can compete in the Eastern Conference. I'm not talking about the West because I still think this is Denver's league to lose. I think Denver is the Golden State Warriors of this 5-year span, and I think they're going to be very hard to beat. I know Minnesota right now is in first place in the West. I think they're right there. Go ahead.
No, you can continue. Never mind.
No, I think Minnesota is a good team, but I
think Phoenix is
Phoenix
I don't know. I think anytime you have that many good players on a team, that deep of a starting five, it doesn't matter if you're in a run or what you're doing, what seed you're in.
Phoenix is in
LeBron has done it before with the Lakers. Huh?
They're 19 and 17. Phoenix might not even make
all you have to do is get in. All you have to do is get in.
Dude, they're a playing team right now. They can lose.
It's fine, but LeBron did it as a playing team.
LeBron is a playing team right now. They're 18 and 19.
They did it a few years ago when they
did it last year, and they went to and they got lucky. Everything fell together. They bumped into a Dallas Maverick team that was didn't know what the hell they were doing. They should have never
saying is
Jalen Brunson.
If you have players that have the talent, and we know that Phoenix does, if you have the starting five that can compete, which Phoenix does, you can go there in the playoffs.
Phoenix has no athletic ability. They have no bench. They have Bradley Beal, who's played 2 games with the other guys. Seems like the Brooklyn Nets of now. They're not good, man. And if I were them right now, if I was Phoenix right now, I would trade their one optional player where you can get a lot back for him. And that's Devin Booker. That's what I would do. I would move him and get as much as I possibly can back because you're not winning with this team. This roster is not good. The Timberwolves are young and they're energetic and they have talent and Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, and they have a great bench. The Nuggets have the Joker, Murray, Porter. I mean, that team is loaded. The Thunder, with all their young talent that they have right now, they're so much better than the Suns. The Clippers with obviously Harden and Westbrook, washed up guys, but they still have Kawhi Leonard, that's fantastic, and Paul George, when healthy, is good. The Kings are great with De'Aaron Fox and the players that they have over there, Sabonis. And then there's the Mavericks. I don't think they're any good, but they have one of the best players, if not the best player in the league, and second best player in the league, in Luka Doncic. But the truth is they made a big mistake trading Jalen Brunson. I think they know that now. The Pelicans are another good young team, has a tremendous amount of talent over there. And Williamson is actually playing and balling. The Rockets are young and they're up and coming. I like the talent that they have. And then there's the Suns, the Lakers, and the Warriors. The 3 old teams, washed up teams that have a bunch of old fogies that don't belong there. So I just think they're terrible. All 3 of those teams are terrible. They need to move on. Steph Curry needs to be traded by the Warriors. LeBron James needs to be traded, or Anthony Davis needs to be traded by the Lakers. And the Suns need to be traded. They need to trade all 3 of those guys. But really, they're not going to get anything for nothing for Bradley Beal because he has a no trade clause. Maybe you'll get a first-round draft pick for Kevin Durant right now. Maybe. He ruins teams. And then Devin Booker, you can get a lot. You can get 4 or 5 first-round draft picks. You can get 2 good young players you can build around. So, I mean, there has to be something that some of these organizations look at and realize that they don't have a chance. So, I don't think they have a chance. And I think they need to move on from the team that they have and the roster that they have. So, that's it, man. That's pretty much with the Knicks. And Brooklyn's playing decent basketball. I'm not going to say that they're not. They're playing decent basketball. They're 9th. They're in a
5 games back.
Yeah, but they're in a playoff.
They're playing. Like I said, I've been saying every time we brought them up, they are a team that should make the play-in. They're a play-in team, and if they make the playoffs, it'll be through that route. I think that's their ceiling for this year.
And every other team is pretty much all bunched together. The Heat, 20-15. The Pacers, 20-15. The Cavaliers, 21-15. The Knicks, 21-15. The Magic, 21-15. And then 23-12, the 76ers, the 25-11 Bucks, and 28-7 Celtics. I mean, it's so bunched together in the middle. So, I mean, right now, if the season were to end, the Knicks would be the 5th seed like they were last year. And the Cavaliers were the 6th seed last year. So the Knicks and the Cavs would be playing in the first round against one another once again. But I think this will change. I think Donovan Mitchell will be traded one way or another. I don't care what Cleveland says. And I think there's a lot of questions.
I think that'll be interesting if he got traded to Brooklyn.
I'm sorry?
I think it'll be interesting if he got traded to Brooklyn.
He'll want out. He'll be there for a year.
Oh, probably, yeah. But I think it'll be interesting, like what they do this year.
He'll win an MVP. He'll score 35 points and chuck up shots. And then he'll, in 1 year, because he has one more year left on his contract next year, and then he'll
go to the Knicks.
He'll play, a year, and then he'll go to the Knicks where he wants to go. So it doesn't make sense. I think he should force his way to New York because everybody else does it. They force their way out to the team that they want. That's the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. Garbage. It's garbage.
Yeah, the fact that players have that much power is ridiculous. No league should have where the players decide where they go like crazy like that. Teams should be able to trade you for the best offer they want or they can get. And the fact that players can just be a diva and get what they want and go where they want. It's the inmates run the asylum in the NBA.
Yeah, well, somebody needs an asylum. It won't be me. It'll be half those Knicks players if they don't freaking figure it out. I mean, this team's up and coming. I think the Knicks are up and coming. They need one more piece. I think if you had another big man that has athletic ability like Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, you're a contender right there. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, you get in free agency a year from now. You'll lose players. You won't have to extend other players because you bring in Donovan Mitchell in a year from now. And it makes sense why the Knicks would still bring in a big man and then bring in another player next year. Or after next year. So I think the Knicks are there. I think they're lurking in the weeds. Last year, they should have went to the Eastern Conference Finals. I thought they were a better team than Miami going into that series. They just laid up a lousy goose egg, and Mitchell Robinson wasn't 100% healthy, which cost the Knicks, I think, that series, losing him in the first game of that series. So, unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles right there for the New York Knicks. As far as the Islanders are concerned, I mean, the Islanders are back and forth. I mean, Matthew Barzal's it looks like if he could stay healthy, he's going to have a career year. He's going to probably break probably 85. He's going to bake some cookies probably, but 85 points. He's going to have probably close to 85 points this year, the way he's going. Probably around 25 goals. He has 11 goals right now, and he looks like he's putting up the numbers that we expect him. I don't like the +4 and a plus-minus situation. I think they need to play better.
Plus-minus is an overrated stat.
I look at it, if they're on the ice and there's goals going in, it affects the team. I mean, Noah Dobson right now, he's a
plus 19.
He's
plus 20 now. Last time looking, plus 19.
I mean, that's scary.
That's very good.
That's scary. He's a great
and
offensive.
He's been getting 27 to 30 minutes with Adam Pelech and Pulak out.
And I think if I were the Islanders, when Pelech and Pulak comes back, you pair them back together again. This defense needs it. They need it. They need.
I would agree. You don't want to split up Romanov and Dobson right now. They're finally playing how they thought they would coming into last year. Romanov's having a phenomenal year. I wouldn't break those two up.
Phenomenal year.
Romanov's having a great year. I would not touch those two.
Plus 12, he stinks.
That's good.
No, it's not. It's not for a defenseman.
Plus 12, at this point in the year, plus 12 is good.
No, it's not.
At 100%. 100%.
No, it's not.
Yep.
No, it's not. I mean, Oliver Wahlstrom has a -8. I mean, he's
horrible.
I mean, for everybody who's attacking Samuel Bolduc, Bolduc right now is a -5, and he's playing a lot.
He's not playing a lot of minutes per game, though.
He's still playing, and he's playing enough.
He is playing, but he's not playing a lot of minutes.
Is he playing 16 minutes, 15 minutes a game? That's still very good.
Probably less than that. He was getting less for a period of time when he was playing. He could be getting less than that.
How about this? Mike Riley, who's not a very good defenseman, he has a -8. Okay?
Is that just for the Islanders, or is that for the whole year?
That's right now, -8.
That could also be some of it from Florida.
Yeah, but he's been practically with the Islanders, and he's got a -8. And honestly, the way I see the Islanders to be right now, they got to figure out this defensive thing. They're scoring goals at will, and I maybe they don't need to add another offensive player right now, maybe in the offseason, but they need defensive help. And Adam Pelech.
They need the defense to be healthy.
It's called bring Adam Pelech back and Pulak and pair them together already. What are you doing unpairing them? These two guys together were one of the best defensive pairings in the league.
The problem was at the time they didn't have other guys who were being reliable.
No, but you want to know something? It doesn't really matter because you need to help.
That's why they were spreading them apart to try and have two pairings that were reliable.
Listen,
since they've been out, Romanov and Dobson have both become a very good pairing together.
I don't believe so.
That's wrong. And adding in
wrong, a plus 20 and a plus 12. Great. They're both
adding. Well, Romanov started off playing with Pulak, who was not having the greatest year at the beginning of the year. But that pairing for a while was still very good. There was a period of time, I think, beginning of November, when they didn't have any 5-on-5 goals against. That's very good for a defensive pairing. And my opinion, they've been very good, and they having a very good complement to them, which I would agree putting back Pulak and Pelech together. And Mike Riley, he has been absolutely fantastic on this team. He has been what they have been missing. He has been what they have wanted Aho to be. Keep Riley and Mayfield together. You have Pelech and Pulak, and you have Dobson and Romanov, and I think that's a great 6 defenseman right there.
First of all, Pelech and Pulak need to go back together because his defense is horrible, and they need that defensive aggressiveness.
It's struggling.
It's horrible. This is one of the worst defensive teams in the league. They're giving up too many shots in the third period. I mean, your goaltenders are averaging 10 more shots every single game than any goaltender in the league. That's scary. And for a team that was known to be a defensive-minded team and a great goaltending team, that's the scary part right now. And everybody wants to take shots of Ilya Sorokin. He's having a fantastic year because the Islanders' defense stinks. So, I mean, the fact that he has a 3.17 goals against average and a .909 save percentage, it doesn't look good. But he has 938 saves already. 938 saves in almost, I think he's played in 35 games. That's ridiculous.
And the Islanders goaltending of Varlamov and Sorokin have the second most expected goals stopped in the entire NHL. So that really shows you just how good they have actually been. Varlamov and Sorokin, their numbers might not show it, but when you look at the position that they are in right now, there's a lot of points that they probably give up if they have any other goaltender in there right now, because they have been saving games, and other statistics are showing that. Besides goals against average and save percentage, when you look at expected goals against, that's really where you look at it and see that they have been doing a very good job.
Well, they need to keep winning because they're so bunched together. Carolina now has been on a little bit of a winning streak tear. They have 49 points. The Rangers the Devils are playing good hockey. Philadelphia's playing good hockey. Washington's playing good hockey. Even Pittsburgh's playing good hockey. This is going to be, all the way to the end. And I think the Islanders, they could go on a losing streak. That's why they need Pelech and Pulak. I mean, they're in desperate need of defensive help.
Also, Parisi coming back would be very helpful.
In what? Penalty killing?
Huh?
Penalty killing? I mean,
well, yeah, they are one of the worst PK teams in the NHL. They need to fix that badly, and he's a very good penalty killer.
I really believe that the Islanders need to be looking for defensive players, not bringing back old players like Zach Parisi. That's just my.
But you know what? He is faster than most guys on the team currently.
That's not saying much.
Actually, the bottom 6 is. You can actually no. I think for. I would say there's a good portion of the forwards that are very fast players, but the problem is the guys who are not are just so slow that it's pathetic. Anders Lee can't skate anymore. Matt Martin and Clutterbuck.
Anders Lee never could skate. He stinks.
No, but he used to be able to move somewhat. You can't go with a puck back.
Guys, he's overpaid. I mean, they had to move him to the number 1 line because he has no athletic ability. So he needed to be put on a line where there are 2 athletic players that could do more and pretty much give him opportunities to deflect pucks or stand in front of the net to screen goalies. The guy stinks. I mean, honestly, there's no reason why he should be.
He's not what he was. But you know what? It happened.
He was that good.
Players that are his style of play, once he gets to 32, they start dropping off. And that's when they are supposed to be dropping down to third, fourth line. But unfortunately, with what he's getting paid, I think that's kind of part of the reason why they haven't. But no, Parisi coming back would be huge. I would drop Martin and Clutterbuck and put the fourth line of Goudier, Cizikas, and Fashion. And then the third line go to with Parisi, Pajot, and Holmstrom. Go with that bottom six to complement the current top six they have. And I think they are set to go.
And then there's the New York Rangers that are still in first place. I think that's still the best team in the Eastern Conference. And right now, Panarin is having a season of his career right now in 38 games, 25 goals, 30 assists, 55 points. He's averaging probably around almost 2 points a game. He's been unbelievable this year, and he's an MVP candidate. You can argue him, Matthews, Connor McDavid right now is not there, but he will by the end of the season. There's quite a few other players doing it, but Panarin has been as good as any player in the league right now. He's been sensational under Peter Laviolette. He's been everything that they're expecting. Mika Zibanejad has not had a good season, but hey, 14 goals and 24 assists for 38 points is not a bad consolation prize. No. I mean,
he started off very slow.
I still think Zibanejad is their best player. I think the Giants. I think the Rangers need to just figure out as the players get closer who they need to sit and get healthier so they're ready for the playoffs. Because over the last couple of years, they get into the playoffs, they're not 100% healthy in certain parts of their team on the second and third lines, and they can't produce against these teams that are just as good as them, or that's why they're in the playoffs, and then they lose these close series where, they got knocked out by the Devils last year. They're a young team and trying to figure things out. The Rangers should have won that series. Now, if you're matched up against the Devils this year, you're still in a situation where they have the experience and they're just as talented or maybe even more talented than you. The only thing you have that I think that the Rangers have an advantage of right now in the Eastern Conference is Peter Laviolette, who I think is the best coach in the East right now.
Peter Laviolette's doing a phenomenal job with that team, first off. But I think if those two teams matched off again, I think Rangers have a major advantage in goaltending. Igor has been phenomenal since he came back.
He's a hit or miss. Well. He's a hit or miss in the playoffs. He's been proving that over the last few years. He's good in one series, then he doesn't really look good in another series. I wouldn't bet on it, okay? And that's been a problem. They do have Jonathan Quick, and if they trust in Jonathan Quick, if he gets hot again, I would trust more in Jonathan Quick because he's done it before and he's won, 3 Stanley Cups.
I don't know if he'd be able to go on a run.
2 of them were from him. Oh, I do. I think Jonathan Quick still has it in
playing every other day. I don't think he can at this age. I don't think he's
Jonathan Quick is 9-2. He's got a 2.44 goals against average, a .915.
Yes, but in the playoffs, he'll be playing every other day. I don't think he has the stamina anymore to be doing that.
I disagree. I think he does. I really do. I think he's done it before, and we've seen old goalies.
That was what 10.
How old is the Florida Panthers goalie? How old is the Florida Panthers goalie going into all the way to the Stanley Cup last year? Bobrovsky. I bet she's 36, 37 years old. If Bobrovsky could do it, he could do it. And Jonathan Quick has won Stanley Cups before. Bobrovsky never did. I disagree. I think Jonathan Quick is 37. Bobrovsky's 37.
He's 35.
Whatever. 30-something years old. He's an old man.
But see, there's a difference because you look at what...
You're right. Jonathan Quick has won, and he hasn't.
But you look at what Bobrovsky has still been doing over the years. Even as he's gotten older, he's still been producing, having good years. You go look at what Jonathan Quick was doing the last few years in LA. He was awful.
Jonathan Quick didn't want to be in LA anymore. He had a lot of problems with the coach over there. That's why he got fired, and he wanted out. And then he went to the Golden Knights. He lost his spot, but still won a Stanley Cup over there. He was a good leader over there. And then he goes to the Rangers, a place that he wanted to go for years because he grew up a Ranger fan. He grew up in the Connecticut area. I think he's happy where he is. I think he's playing good hockey. I think that
I think he's playing fine too, but I don't think he's not a goalie who can go on a run in the playoffs. You need Igor.
You're going to tell me if Igor loses back-to-back games, you're going to trust that he's going to win that series? I do not. I think you go Jonathan Quick, you go the older guy.
I'm not saying you go in for a game and he won't do well. I'm saying if he's going every other day, he's not going to have the stamina at this age in order to do that.
Go every other day. They don't go every other day. They usually go one day and they skip 2 days. They skip 2 days and then they play another day.
In the first round, sometimes, but it depends on the arena schedule in the first round. But after that, it's generally always every other day.
I don't know. I disagree. I think that Jonathan Quick could do it. And I think that if Igor gets into another one of his slumps and you go into the playoffs and you can't trust that he can make a save or do it well, Igor was a big reason why they almost lost against the Pittsburgh Penguins a couple of years ago. He was horrible in that series.
He was also a big reason why they got to the conference finals.
Yeah, he had one good series, and then he goes in the conference finals and lays out a lousy goose egg. Yeah, he played pretty well, but
I thought he played better than
Vasilevsky. No, I don't think so. I thought Vasilevsky was better than him, and that's why they won. So, I mean, Vasilevsky.
I think they won because Kevin has more experience.
I'm going with Jonathan Quick. If my goaltender is not playing well, I'm going. By the way, Capocacco, Capocacco stinks, man. He has
been doing very well in a bottom six role as a depth forward, and since he got hurt, their bottom six has not been as good, and they have been missing him.
Lafreniere's gotten better. He's gotten better.
Statistically, Kakko has been very good defensively, and him being out has hurt them. Lafreniere, he had a very good first few weeks of the season, and then he really cooled off. Guess what?
He's a -3. He's a -3. He has 23 points. He has 10 goals and 13 assists.
He has 10 goals. He had 8 in the first 2 weeks.
Okay, but he's still playing. He's still giving the Rangers good defense at the forward position, and I look at that too. I look at everything and what he's doing on the ice. And right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Plus minus is not a good stat to use.
Best forward. He's their 6th best forward right now.
Plus minus is not a good stat to use to tell if he's playing good defense.
Oh, I like him. I think he's played very well, and I think Alexis Lafreniere deserves all the respect and all the accolades he should be getting going into the season.
I think he started off very hot, and everyone thinks he's doing very well. But I think he is just doing what he always has been. He had 8 goals really, really quick at the beginning.
Oh, if he has 28, 30 goals this year as a 22-year-old, you're going to cry about that? I mean,
no. That's different. But you said he had 10 goals right now?
He has 10 goals, and it's 38 games. I mean,
but here's the thing.
If he scores
his game-by-game production.
If he scores 25 goals this year.
I can look at it right now. I can go look at every game he has played this year, and I will tell you if this wants to open up.
I disagree. I think he's played well. Chris Kreider, again, has another good year, 38 games. And this is another thing. You go in the offseason with Chris Kreider, he's getting paid a lot of money. Trade him. Get something back for
Kreider? Why would you trade the guy who's having the best year of on the team for the third year in a row?
First of all, Panarin's having the best season, and then the second, Micah
has been their best player for 3 years in a row.
And Vincent Trocheck has been better than him too. So I honestly, to me, I'm going in the offseason. I'm not. Chris Kreider's a good player, dude. He's making $9 million a year. I'm not re-signing him there. I'm not going to extend him. I trade him. You could get some top young prospects back. Yes, the Rangers have a good farm system. They have a couple of good young players, and that's fine. But you don't know what they're going to pan out to be. You need a for sure thing. And Kreider at the top of his game, you can get something back for him. That's my opinion. You can argue that all you want.
Okay.
Chris Kreider was a good plus-minus guy last year. He's a +8 right now. That's not good.
Okay, let's look at Lafreniere. He has 10 goals, 13 assists, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He had 8 before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
8. So you're telling me that he's playing well, but he has 2 goals instead.
I don't care about that. That's 23 points in 38 games. It's pretty good for a 22-year-old.
But that's not what your logic was earlier.
My logic. Listen, I don't.
Your logic in past episodes has been goals and goals and goals, and right now he has 2 goals since Thanksgiving.
What line does Alexis Lafreniere play on?
The
third line.
No.
It's the kid line. He plays on the kid line. It's the third line.
No.
He plays with the kids. He plays with. I mean, obviously the kid line's not healthy right now because.
He hasn't this year.
Yeah, because the kid line's not healthy.
No. Even before that, he started off. He's been on the second line this year. Even at the beginning of the year, he's been playing with Panarin.
All right, so
you're gonna sit here and tell me he's playing with Panarin and he has 2 goals instead?
First of all, Panarin is on the first line.
He's not. No, he's not. Panarin's on the second line.
Yes, but he fluctuates from the first and second line. He's back and forth.
Kreider and Mika have been on the same line this entire year.
And so has Panarin. Panarin's been moved back and forth on each and every different line.
I don't think so.
Oh, I do. Because last year they played together all season long.
That's last year.
Yeah, okay. And I disagree. And by the way, I have to give, again, Lafreniere a lot of credit because he's the 6th best player offensively for the New York Rangers for a guy that everybody was running out in the offseason. So, disagree. Well, we'll see.
I don't think he would be if Hedl was healthy. I don't think he'd be having that production.
I disagree.
Then he'd be having production for a middle 6 forward. Right now, having 2 goals and a guy who was supposed to be a first overall pick is not good. So he has 2 goals since
the Islanders captain. All right, and you, Pierre Engvall, who you love so very much, in 20 games had no goals. So please don't get me started about it. You love Pierre Engvall. He's so great. He stinks. 20 games. The Islanders are paying him 7 years, and he had no goals in 20 games as a second line player. Give me a break.
But you know what? You look at the statistics of that line. They're still statistically one of the best lines in the NHL.
Nelson, who's playing great. It's good for them.
They're all playing great together.
Now, no, they're not. I wouldn't say great. So
they are. Yeah, statistically, they have some of the most expected goals per 60 in the NHL.
So you think Pierre Engvall's having a good year?
I think that line collectively is having
37. Okay, you don't think Lafreniere's having a good year, but this guy, 37.
I didn't say he wasn't having a good year.
5 goals, 9 assists, and 14 points. He's having a great year. Give me a break.
I don't think Lafreniere is having a better year than he was.
Way better. Way better.
Not at all.
Way better.
Statistics are all going to be the same as it was the last 2 years, or the last 3 years, whatever it was. They're all going to be about the same.
Pierre Engvall stinks. Okay, and the Islanders made a big mistake extending him, and they're going to regret it.
It's a $3 million AAV. And
it's 7 years. You extended him for 7 years. $3 million
average annual value. It's easy to trade.
Oh God,
teams will take that.
Who's going to want that garbage? I wouldn't want that garbage. This guy stinks, man.
There's always teams that are down at the bottom of the league.
Well, good. The only teams that want players like that are the Islanders. That's the only thing.
But you know what? You still look at what that line is doing and what they're producing. They are producing some of the best lines in the NHL. So that's wrong. I'm not saying he's having a good year, but collectively that line together is playing very well together.
It's because of Brock Nelson.
And you go and you look at when they did bench him a few games ago, they struggled mightily because they really missed his skating ability.
Well, I don't know what they're missing because the guy stinks. I watched him live quite a few times this year. I know you're a season ticket holder, but I was right there. I think the guy stinks. I really do. I don't think when he has the puck in his area, he knows what to do with it. I don't think he's as good as other Islander fans all over social media are saying. I just think the guy stinks. And
he's playing very well on that line.
Yeah, because you have Brock Nelson, who is
hiding them just play very well together.
Oh, please. Kyle Palmieri's having a better season than he did last year. For what the Islanders are paying him, he's not doing enough. Okay. I'm sorry. Kyle Palmieri should have right now. He's averaging he's getting $6 million a year or something like that, 5.5 or something like that. 5, whatever. He's making $5 million a year. And Kyle Palmieri right now has 8, 9 goals, 10 goals.
He has 9 goals, 21 points.
21 points.
Yeah, not bad.
Nice. I'll tell you who's having a good year is Brock Nelson. I give him a lot of credit. The Islanders are going to lose him in the offseason. They're not going to be able to re-sign him. There's no way they're going to rebuild.
He's a free agent after next year.
Oh, so he's not a free agent after this year?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't know. I thought he was.
No.
I think that the Islanders need to worry about that situation more than anything because I'm not a big Brock Nelson fan, never was. Mikey C loved him, always spoke highly of him. I never liked him when they drafted him in the late first round. Thought he was a little bit questionable. I watched him play Team USA junior hockey. Wasn't a big fan of his. Lengthy, not enough strength, but he's changed my thoughts to what he is. He's very accurate. He's one of the more accurate.
He really came into his own since Barry Trotz came
Yeah,
coach.
I would say that, yes. And he deserves all the accolades. I think he's been the most consistent Islander over the last 3 seasons. So I think he's been impressive. I think the Islanders should definitely, if you could get some defensive help, you need to trade to get. And they need to clean up certain aspects of the game if they plan to win a Stanley Cup. Because if you're just going into the playoffs, just trying to make noise, that's not good enough for the Islander fans. The Islander fans want to see you make loud noises, like go to a Eastern Conference Finals and maybe shock the world with the goaltending that you have. But you're not giving your goaltending any help, and that's been a big problem for the New York Islanders. As far as the Devils too, they're playing good hockey too. So. Shout out to Jack Hughes and that team, man. I love what that team is doing, man. Timo Meyer. I think they have a ton of good young talent over there. I'm not a Landy Ruff fan from the Florida Panthers. I'm not a big Ruff fan, but hey, we'll see what happens. I think the Devils are going to be dangerous. They're going to make the playoffs. I definitely believe that, because I could see the Devils going on a 5, 6, 7, 8 game win streak and taking control of a position in that. In that Metropolitan Division. So
the line of Engvall, Nelson, Palmieri has the 7th most goals for any line in the NHL.
Because of Brock Nelson.
It's a collective.
Pierre Engvall has 5 goals in 37 games. That's not good. He's not good. He's got 9 assists in 37 games. It's not because of him.
I'm not saying it's because of him. 3 of them together.
No.
It's a line.
You could put anybody on that line. They're better than him. I mean, honestly, he stinks. Honestly, should be on the 3rd line. He's not good enough to be on the 2nd line. Sorry, I would put somebody even more talented over there. A youngster, Simone Holmstrom, would be nice over there. Love to see Simone over there. I think he's got great vision on the ice. I think Simone Holmstrom. Finally, maybe Lou actually got it right in the 1st round in Vancouver when they drafted him. I was there. So maybe they got it right with him. We'll see.
In every single statistic, that line is one of the best lines in the NHL currently.
Well,
along with Lee, Horvat, and Barzal, their top 6 is not an issue. Their bottom 6 and penalty kill needs to be fixed big time.
Their defense is what needs to be fixed. That's a big.
And, team defense needs to be fixed, not just defensemen.
Well, it's called put Adam Pelech. And
I don't think that fixes it. I don't think that fixes the problem right away.
You want to bet?
It might get better. It might get better, but they're still going to have a lot of problems on the back end. A lot of these forwards are missing their assignments, getting lost in transitions. They're getting lost in through cycles. They're not shifting right. They're having some very bad, simple problems. Some of it is also on the coach. In some situations, he's putting guys out there in that are not the right situations. There's times that towards the end of the 3rd period, when it's a 1-goal game, he's putting Barzal out there who should not be out there at all in those situations. So it's not just the team who's not playing bad. Personally, the coach is holding them back. That's a major problem right now. If you take a guy who is if you have Barry Trotz there and the team defense is perfectly fine. I don't know about the offense. The offense I think is definitely more of a Lane Lambert result, but the problem isn't just a fix of getting back Pelech and Pulock. A lot of things that they need to work on defensively, and it's basic stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Their assignments, and it's just simple things that they should be getting right at this stage of their playing careers.
Well, we'll see. We'll definitely see. I'm not so optimistic about the Islanders right now, and I do like Pulock and Pelech. I would put them together. I'd pair them together. I think it'll change everything for them. I really do. If you could put them on for at least 25, 28 minutes together every single game, and they go back to what they were.
Vancouver is currently beating the Rangers 3-1.
Well, there you go. So Vancouver's a good young team, by the way.
They're phenomenal. Quinn Hughes is definitely – he's currently my pick to win the Norris.
Those Hughes brothers, and by the way, their other brother is on the Devils. He's going to be good too.
Yeah, he's been playing very well so far. Yeah. Luke Hughes.
Yeah, they were all going to be good, man. And they got another brother who could be better than all of them. that Hughes family. And I heard that they bought a house over there all together. The family moved over there to New Jersey. And I'm hearing that, even though Quinn has another 2-3 years on in the contract, I as good as Vancouver is, would you be surprised if Quinn goes over there and plays with his brothers? Not surprising at all if he decides to do that. So,
well, he's 24.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his contract currently looks like.
3 years. He signed an extension a couple of years ago, and he has 3 years left on it. We looked at it. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He'll be 27 years old. I could see him absolutely going over there and jumping ship and going with the Devies. The Devies. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. 100% he's gone.
Mm-hmm. I think he goes to the Devils. I think he goes to plays with his brothers. I think that's where he will be heading when he becomes a free agent, unless he gets traded there. And the Devils have a good farm system, and they're built very well. So I expect that to happen one way or another, that all the brothers are going to be playing together on one roster. So, yeah, that's it, man. It was a great show. Great content. Thank you, as always. Shout out to the Jets and the Giants. Hopefully you don't screw this up. By the way, go Buffalo Bills. Okay, I almost said Bulls, but go Bills. I really hope the Bills put up a shot right there to win a Super Bowl this year. They deserve it. They haven't won or haven't gone to the Super Bowl since Jim Kelly. Never won, but not in those years. They lost 4 in a row. But I would love to see the Bills surprise the world. Go to the AFC title game, knock off the Baltimore Ravens, and then go to the Super Bowl and win. I hope everything falls together for Josh Allen.
I would like the Cowboys to win it just to see the entire world go batshit crazy.
I don't want to see that.
I like chaos. Bring chaos.
Well, then talk to the Eagle fans, because they might be ripping out their hair by the end of that game against the Buccaneers. By the way, they got to go to Tampa when they thought they were going to have home field advantage all throughout the playoffs. Good job, Nick Sirianni. I don't see you flying like an eagle over the last couple of weeks, you smart ass.
Well, that's our show for today.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tune in next week and we'll have another fantastic show for everybody.
Absolutely. Sit on a horse, as you know what. Enjoy yourself, and don't run from any midgets or anybody scary. Okay.